Okay, let's just take a brief look at the interface in Microsoft Teams that we're going to look at if we're going to use Teams as a means of communicating with our 4BSc students. So we have the General tab here, and under the General tab on the top we have Posts, Files, Class Notebooks, Assignments, and there's one more here which we'll see in a minute is Grades, and we'll see some other things we can do with this top bar in just a second. So Posts is, as you're familiar with anyway from using Microsoft Teams, just a place where you can post messages and use it as an instant messaging service. And these messages will be received by everyone who's in the team, so that's you and your fourth year students. So that's the first one, and I think we're all familiar with using that. The second one, Files, is just a file upload section, and it comes with a default folder called Class Materials, and so you can upload files that you want to make accessible to your fourth year students and to have permanently part of this Teams group if you wish. We'll skip Class Notebook for a second. The next one is actually really useful. It's called Assignments. And so under the Assignments tab, you have the opportunity to create an assignment, which I'm going to do here. So we'll just create the assignment. And then there's some details about it. I'm going to give it a title, Test. I'm not going to enter any instructions, but here you can see you can add resources. That could be a PDF file or a Word document with some instructions as to what you need to do. You can give it points or leave it without points. You can add a rubric or not a rubric. Here's a really good thing. You can assign a task to one student or to all of the students, depending on what you want to do. And then you can set a due date and a due time. And you can also allow late hand-ins or whatever, and you can post a notification to the channel. So this might be a very good place where you could put in, for example, writing deadlines that you've set for your fourth year students, or indeed any of the standard fourth year deadlines which we're all working to and familiar with. The last tab is this one here, Grades, and this enables you to put up grades for marking of assignments, but it's probably not something that we're going to use with fourth year students. One other thing I should point out to you, and we can go to Class Notebook now, is that when you're in any one of these tabs, it's possible to get rid of this waste of space sidebar here just by clicking on the Expand tab here, and this will give you essentially a full screen view on this space. One last thing about the interface, which you may or may not be familiar with, is you can set your own tabs up along the top up here. And so if you click on the plus sign, you'll get a whole series of things that you could add a specific tab for. Poly, for example, would be a poll. Tasks by Planner would be a set of tasks laid out in a kind of a to-do list. You could add a YouTube video. You can add a PowerPoint presentation. You can add an Excel workbook, whatever it is that's listed here. And there's lots of other things, some of which are free and some of which are paid below. But there's actually quite a large number of really useful tools that you can add in at the top of this page in order to have those accessible to all of the students whom you're supervising.